Hello! It's Sunday night. I'm going to make some okonomiyaki. Okonomiyaki is basically a cabbage pancake. Cabbage is the main ingredient, usually some scallions involved. You mix it up in a batter, fry it up. It's just really good. I always feel great after I eat it. If you have this in Japan or a Japanese restaurant, it's probably going to be very thick, very, very large, kind of like wet. The way I make it, I do more like a latke approach. I try to make it thinner, and when I cook it, I try to make it crispy on both sides, more crunch and less glob. I'm gonna start by chopping my cabbage and my scallions, and we'll go from there. Okay, so here is my cabbage, my scallions, and my bowl. This is where I'm gonna put the food. It's important to start with the biggest bowl that you have. You'll understand why later, but this is the biggest bowl that I have. Something weird going on with this cabbage. I don't know what's up with that. I'm gonna cut that off. I always try to get the smallest cabbage I can find because when they get large, it's so hard to deal with. I'm gonna try to take out the pieces that I know won't really blend well when I stir this all up. This is a really key part in making sure that your okonomiyaki actually sticks together. There's nothing more disappointing than getting to the flip stage and having it all fall apart on you. Now I'm gonna cut the scallions. These aren't the freshest, so I'm gonna avoid the icky parts. Okay, so this is why I said to get a really big bowl. I've just got the cabbage and scallion in here right now, but I want it to be really well incorporated. I'm just gonna flip it. If your bowl is too small, I'm sure you can imagine how this goes terribly wrong. Next up, dry ingredients. I'm gonna get 1 cup of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and tenkatsu. This is tenkatsu, fried tempura bits. I tried making these at home the other day and it was very dangerous. I would not recommend it unless you know what you're doing. I mixed flour and water together and put it in a hot pot of oil. They crisped up, but then every single glob that I dropped ended up exploding out of the pan and flying across the room. So, strongly recommend buying these if you want to use it. Don't try to make it yourself. When you add tenkatsu to the batter, it makes it like fluffy and light and crispy. I like to add a lot, like a handful. This also tastes really good on udon. I could eat a bag of those if no one stopped me. Next up, flour. If you go to a Japanese grocery store, they will probably have a pre-mixed bag that includes the baking powder, the flour, the salt. It's just like pancake mix. You can buy it pre-made if you want. I think there's about a cup left in this, so I'm just gonna dump it all in. 1 teaspoon of baking powder, big pinch of salt. Woo, that's a little too much salt. Oh God, oh God. And then, this is hondashi. It's like a dried powdered form. Dashi is Japanese fish stock. It's bonito stock. Bonito is a type of fish. It's usually cured, and when it's cured, it gets really, really, really hard. So sometimes you'll have bonito flakes, which you can put on top of okonomiyaki. You can also take the bonito flakes, rehydrate them in water, and then that's what gives you dashi. I don't have time to do all that. This is like the Japanese equivalent of a bouillon cube. Not too much, teaspoon, half teaspoon, and put that in as well. Then I'm gonna shake again. I want to do this before I put the wet stuff in because when the wet stuff is in, you don't want to mix it too much because that can make it too dense. So because I want to minimally mix this, I'm going to crack 2 eggs in a bowl and add a little bit of water. I'm going to mix that very lightly just until the yolks and the whites break and blend together. And then I'm going to very gently stir it into the cabbage mixture. So I got my eggs. I got my water. I'm gonna put about half of what's in this cup into here and then mix it very gently. I'm for 1 spoon. Not until I eat. Right, I'm gonna pour this in. Heating up the cast iron. If I had neutral oil, I would use it, but I don't. So I'm gonna let this get warm and then I'll put a little bit of olive oil on. The best. It's on medium heat, by the way. All right, it's looking good. And now I'm gonna put the cabbage on top. I'm gonna keep it on medium heat. I actually might make it like a little lower than medium. And I'm gonna put a lid on and set a timer for 7 or 8 minutes. Well, it is a bit of an active meal because you have to flip it and it needs to sit under the pan for so long. You can't really make a lot at once. If you go to a restaurant, they'll either like serve it for you and you have to wait a long time, or there's like a hot plate in the middle of the table. It does take attention, but it's also like not so much attention. So after these 8 minutes are up, flip it, get the other side cooked. I didn't really like smack down the cabbage. I more laid it on top of the bacon. You know, I like to keep the essence of cabbage alive. Check back in a few minutes when it's flipping time. Uncle, you hungry? Okay, looking good. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Very successful flip. I put the lid back on, set the timer for 7 minutes because the bacon was looking a little too crispy at some parts. So we'll check back in a few minutes for the final product. Okay, so the second 7 minutes have elapsed. Before I get the next batch going, let's put all the toppings on. 3 essential toppings. Japanese mayo, Kewpie mayo specifically. Bulldog tonkatsu sauce. There is such thing as okonomiyaki sauce. It has like the face of a lady on it, but I don't like it so much. It's very sweet and kind of like almost syrupy. I don't know, I'm not a fan. Tonkatsu sauce all the way. And this is shaved bonito flakes. First, I'm gonna put brown on brown. Start with the tonkatsu sauce. Bulldog brand. Layer 2, mayo. And layer 3, bonito flakes. These are conveniently individually packaged. Sprinkle this all over. Dancing! And that is how you make okonomiyaki! I'm gonna go eat now because I'm so freaking hungry. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you try it.